How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 5000. Today is January 13, 2022, and of course, we're going to talk about the extreme United States snowstorm that's going to impact 35 states across the eastern half of the United States and could bring well over a foot of snow in some areas of the United States. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar for the lower 48, and we do have some rain showers just off the east coast. However, this low pressure system is expected to remain off the coast, so pretty much you won't experience any impacts throughout the Northeast. As the main feature we'll be focusing on in this video is this snowstorm that's currently just north of North Dakota at this time, and it's going to quickly move to the south and bring a heavy amount of snow throughout the Midwest, just to the west of the Mississippi River Valley, more specifically, as you do see that based on how the radar looks, you see that this area of snow isn't very large just yet. We are seeing some heavier snow showers embedded within this area, but the area isn't large enough to really consider it anything that could dump maybe over 6 inches of snow. But that's quickly about to change, because as the low pressure moves further southward, of course we have a significant jet stream dip that's steering this trough further southward, and as a result of a very pronounced jet stream dip, there's a very unstable environment right now in the Midwest, where we're seeing temperatures in the 50s to 60s towards the west, further westward, closer to our Rocky Mountains. However, towards the east, we're seeing temperatures in the 20s. So that stark contrast when it comes to temperature in such a short distance is what is going to create an unstable environment for this area of snow showers to expand and to develop a little bit more heavier snow showers as it heads further southward. To show you this, let's show you the current temperature map for the United States at this time, and look how quickly the temperature changes. You see that right around Rapid City, South Dakota, you see that the temperature is right around 54 degrees. But if you only go several miles to the north and east, you see that the temperature has dropped into the 20s, and right around 15 degrees close to the right around the North Dakota and Minnesota border. So there's definitely a stark contrast when it comes to temperature, and just a very unstable environment as a result. So as this trough moves further southward, it's going to tap into a lot of that moist air that's located in the warmer air mass in this area, because of course warmer air holds a lot more humidity than cooler air, because the air molecules in the warmer air mass are moving a lot more, and that creates a lot more space for the atmosphere to hold a lot more water when the temperature is warmer. And that's exactly what's going to be the case, and we have that cold air that's going to force that humidity upwards in the atmosphere to allow for rapid convection to occur right around center circulation as this low pressure system moves sort of southward, and that will strengthen the storm as it moves sort of southward, and then once again to the north later during this weekend. So it is definitely something we're going to need to watch over the next couple of days, because this is going to be a cross-country type snowstorm impacting the Midwest, impacting the Southeast as well as the Northeast. So this will be a very long duration event impacting millions of Americans throughout the eastern half of the United States. So first, let's take a look at what the European and the GFS model are forecasting. So compared to yesterday, there isn't a lot of changes regarding the exact trajectory or the strength of where and the snowfall accumulation of this storm. As you see that the European model, similar to yesterday, is taking nearly the exact same track. If I were to show you guys the 12Z run from yesterday, you see that it's pretty much exactly the same for the most part, where we're seeing a trough move southward, bringing snow, a heavy amount of snow throughout the Midwest. Same goes for the Southeast, and you see still a very, very similar track from the track we're seeing today, which is definitely good news, because that really enhances the confidence with this forecast, because the computer models are pretty much synthesizing all the weather data that's currently happening right now, and based on that weather data, they're pretty confident that this will be the exact trajectory. Because if they weren't too confident, then there would be certain factors of the weather today that would potentially exceed or fall below expectations of what the European model is expecting. And there's a lot of factors that these computer models synthesize, such as the temperature, such as the moisture in the atmosphere, just a lot of factors. But since the computer models really haven't changed much from the day before, that really shows high confidence with the forecast. So I'm starting to believe that the Northeast will experience an extreme snowstorm, as I'd say it's likely at this point. There's still going to be a lot of questions regarding the exact trajectory because, again, while the computer models haven't been changing their trajectory much at all, we still can't disregard the fact that we're still around 4 days out from the event. So there's still a lot of time for the computer models to shift their forecast. But seeing both of the main computer models pretty much stick to their guns with when it comes to their trajectory, the strength, and the snowfall accumulation, especially for areas such as the Northeast, which is a little bit further away in that forecast window, is a really good sign and really gives us a little bit more confidence than we would for a storm that's around 4 days out for the Northeast. And the confidence is extremely high at this point for the Midwest as well as the Southeast as well, where it seems likely that it's pretty much inevitable you will experience a major snowstorm in the Midwest. I want to put that out there, and pretty much inevitable in the Southeast as well. The Northeast, and I'd still say it's very likely you're going to experience a major snowstorm, but for the Northeast it becomes, and even the Southeast, it becomes a question of where that heaviest snow will lie, because again, any small trajectory changes with the low pressure system will make a big difference in terms of how much snowfall accumulation you experience. If this low pressure system moves, let's say 20 miles to the east than expected, then that could mean the difference between receiving no snow in one location to potentially receiving over 6 inches of snow, as it's going to be one of those very close and difficult forecasts, especially for the major cities pretty much along the Interstate 95 corridor. I'm talking about Washington, D.C., I'm talking about Boston, I'm talking about New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore. I think it's going to be a close forecast for you guys because it's going to be one of those scenarios where we're going to have to keep a close eye on the rain snow line. So what of course will determine where that rain snow line will be is where exactly the low pressure system will move, and that really depends on how much ridging there will be just to the east of this storm, because if there's a little bit of a stronger ridge, and that means that the low pressure system is more likely to pretty much hug the coast and move further westward, which would mean that there will be more rain than snow for the major cities along the Northeast. However, there's also a possibility that this ridge maybe is weaker or moves a little bit further eastward to where the low pressure moves eastward and we see more snow than rain for the major cities. So it's going to be a very close call in those locations, and even in the Southeast it's going to be close, especially right around the Kentucky border, and even right around Nashville it's going to be fairly close, because you see that the rain snow line is going to be very, very thin in this right around the border, and there isn't going to be a large area of snow just to the north of it, as the area of snow is going to be very, very small based on what the GFS model is saying, and that will certainly make it a very difficult forecast for the Southeast. Right now, you see, I accidentally was showing you the 12Z run, but you see that it's pretty much mostly the same. But now the GFS model, the key difference is that it's bringing a little bit more snow to Tennessee and northern Georgia and northern Alabama as well. And we're still seeing heavy snow, but very similar trajectory for the Northeast compared to the 12Z run. It's going to be one of those close forecasts. Like I said, I'll make sure to give you guys the best forecast as best as I could, but I want you guys to be sure that even if when we're like 24 hours out from the event, it's going to be very difficult to really outline where that rain snow line would be. I really wish I could just show you the exact location where that rain snow line will be located, but it's always been a very difficult thing to do when it comes to weather forecasting, because any minuscule changes makes a big difference in terms of how much snowfall accumulation you experience. So it's going to be tough. However, I'd say for the north, for the areas that are going to be pretty far from the rain snow line, you should be certain that you're going to experience a major snowstorm, potentially close to a foot of snow in some areas and over a foot in some areas of the Northeast. Maybe the current forecast right around Buffalo is expecting over a foot of snow, and the higher elevations of upstate New York, you guys are receiving over a foot of snow. However, the snow might be maximized right around the higher elevations of North Carolina, just to the northwest of Charlotte, and because right now you guys are forecasted to receive right around over a foot of snow, probably 12 to 24 inches of snow, which would be rather significant. And like I said, Charlotte could get involved, potentially close to a foot of snow as well. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. In terms of the Midwest, Des Moines should receive right around 6 to 12 inches of snow, probably in the higher end of that, probably closer to 9 or 10 inches in Des Moines, which would be very heavy snow. St. Louis will get involved in some snow. I'd say right around 3 to 6. Illinois and even Fargo will get involved. So this is definitely something you want to pay close attention to. Now, let's take a look at the total snowfall accumulation. Again, this is assuming that 1 inch precipitable rainfall will equate to 10 inches of snow. If we were to take a look at that, you see that we're going to see the heavy snow extend through Des Moines, and where you guys are receiving maybe right around 6 to 12 inches of snow. And we even see a small area where you could receive over a foot just north of St. Louis, but St. Louis is right on the border between 3 to 6, but more likely you guys will experience 6 to 12 inches of snow in St. Louis. So there's something you want to keep in mind. Throughout Tennessee, what's interesting is that the GFS model wants to bring close to a foot of snow in Nashville, which would be significant for you guys. So do not disregard that in right around Tennessee and right around Atlanta. It's going to be a close forecast for you guys as well, because that rain snow line will be huge in determining how much snowfall accumulation you receive. Because you see just north of Atlanta, you're receiving over a foot of snow, more specifically in the higher elevations of Georgia. So this could be a significant snowstorm for you guys in Atlanta. So at least pay close attention to that in northern Georgia. But Charlotte while you guys are receiving probably right around 8 to 12 inches, so again, very close forecast for you guys. But the good news is that the GFS model, it is pretty much in good agreement with the European model. Hopefully it stays that way to give great confidence with the forecast over the next several days, so we won't need to make major changes. But you see that Charlotte and northern Georgia, Tennessee should expect close to, if not over, a foot of snow. And just northwest of New York, you're receiving over 6 inches of snow, 6 to 12 inches of snow. Same goes for Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Like I said, it's going to be one of those Interstate 95 corridor storms where if you're just southeast of the Interstate 95 corridor, the chance of heavy snow becomes far less likely than if you are to northwest of the Interstate 95 corridor. So it's going to be something you need to be aware of throughout the East Coast. Any small changes can make a big difference in terms of forecast, but the general idea is that this area should receive over 6 inches of snow, probably around 6 to 12 inches of snow. So make sure to keep that in mind. And same goes for the Midwest as well. So let me now show you guys the Futurecast radar to see when you in the Midwest you should experience impact. So the snow should be arriving to North Dakota tonight, Thursday night, right around 9 p.m. Central Time. So make sure to keep that in mind. Right around the central portion of North Dakota. And you see that in the overnight hours, this begins to approach South Dakota. North Dakota is now receiving heavy snowfall in the overnight hours. So very early on Friday should be the worst of snowfall for you guys. Continuing forward, you see that now the snow is approaching Des Moines, Iowa, right around the morning time. And I'd say the worst of the snow should be throughout the afternoon to early evening hours in Des Moines, as you should experience heavy snow for a pretty prolonged period of time throughout Des Moines. And then you see that it approaches western Illinois right around the afternoon time frame. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind. in mind. And then as it approaches St. Louis, I'd say it'll approach St. Louis right around Saturday morning with some heavy snow, and southern Illinois, such as Springfield, Illinois, you should begin to experience the heavy snow right around early Saturday morning. And then moving forward, Arkansas should experience snow that's heavy, I'd say right around Saturday afternoon. And this should be right at Nashville's doorstep, I'd say very early Sunday morning, and pretty much we should already be seeing heavy snow throughout Memphis. So make sure to pay close attention to this in the future all throughout the Midwest. That the worst of the snow for North Dakota should happen very early Friday morning, I'd say, and for Des Moines it should happen Saturday afternoon. Friday afternoon. For St. Louis, it should happen Saturday morning. And for Memphis, I'd say it should happen right around very early on Sunday. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout the Southeast as well as the Midwest over the next several hours. Now, here's my total snowfall accumulation updated from yesterday's forecast, but keep in mind this is just my speculation. This is easily subject to change over the next several days, but I did make a few tweaks to the forecast, and I did increase the snow totals for some areas, especially further northward in the Appalachian Mountain ranges, for closer to West Virginia, Pennsylvania, where now I'm expecting 12 to 24 inches of snow. This extends to western North Carolina as well, and just outside of Charlotte, you're right there in between 12 to 24 inches to maybe 3 to 6 inches, as I'm expecting 6 to 12 right around Charlotte. Just northwest of Washington, D.C., I'm expecting 6 to 12. And you see that it's going to be a very close forecast for New York City, Philadelphia, and Boston, where I'm expecting 3 to 6 inches of snow right now for those locations, but it's going to be close. But I'm certain that a lot of the northwestern portion of the Northeast, as well as the western portion of the Mid-Atlantic, should receive at least over 6 inches of snow and over 12 inches of snow in the higher elevations. 6 to 12 inches of snow over a large area. This is certain at this point. Des Moines should receive 6 to 12 inches, North Dakota, Minnesota, and 3 to 6 inches right around St. Louis, as I do expect the rain to inhibit the snowfall a little bit for you guys, but you guys still should experience significant snowfall impacts, and 1 to 3 just outside of it. But if you want a even more specific location, even more specific forecast for your specific location, just make sure to comment down below your specific location or area, and I'll make sure to give you guys more specific forecasts regarding the amount of snow you should experience. So definitely not a lot of changes from yesterday, but it's definitely still expected to be an extreme snowstorm. So make sure to prepare throughout the Northeast, Southeast, and Midwest, because it's pretty much inevitable. An extreme snowstorm is right at your doorstep for this week and into this weekend. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Weather Related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more Weather Related content. And I hope you guys have a good day.